automatically, oh, there it goes. Someone found it. Okay, wonderful.
I pressed it, yeah.
Oh, great. Wonderful. Yeah, I think because we switched organizer roles. Okay, great. Sorry. Thanks for bearing with us with the technical side of things. So again, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. This is a part of our ongoing EDD webinar series that the department puts on. We usually host a webinar every month. And during the COVID pandemic, starting in March, that frequency has increased. We have been having a lot of webinars with the intention and the mission of getting information out to folks, bringing awareness to programs, bringing information about financing opportunities. And we are so excited today to have a really great discussion about cooperatives. What are they? What resources are available? And we have some fantastic experts here to walk us through that. So really excited today. Thanks for joining in. So as you heard, this session is thankfully being recorded. We will post the link to our YouTube channel. We have an EDD YouTube channel that you can find all previous webinars on them. A really great resource, a great library to find a lot of interesting topics. We also will send the link and we'll send the presentation out to all those who registered. So no worries if you have to jump off. You can watch this whenever you have a chance. So I did want to give a little bit of background about the department, and let's go over EDD really quickly. Our Cabinet Secretary is Alicia J. Keys. Deputy Cabinet Secretary is John Clark. You can see all the different divisions that we have in our department. Economic Development, Film, Outdoor Rec, Border Authority, Military-Based Planning, Spaceport, and Main Street. We do quite a bit. And wanted to let everyone know about the upcoming sessions that we have and upcoming events. So one of the things we're really excited about is we're kicking off the Rural Efficient Business Program interview series, and that'll be Wednesday, this coming up Wednesday, 9:30 at 12:30. And this is a program that we are interviewing businesses all over the state to discuss energy efficiency and renewable energy topics and what that means for these businesses in rural areas. Why is it important? Best practices and challenges that they have encountered while implementing some of these processes. And so the first interview is Truth or Consequences Brewery down in the southern part of the state, and we're just really excited. So you can tune into that. We'll have a podcast, we'll video it, so you'll be able to access those at any time. Also, Finance Fair is coming up. We'll do that and feature the southern part of the state, so keep your eyes open for that. We are going to highlight all of the financing organizations down in the South and give them a few seconds to highlight the work that they're doing, particular projects they're looking for, and then invite the public. So if you have any questions about you need money for your business, this would be the perfect opportunity to tune in. That'll be in early December, so keep your eyes open for that. And then we had an information session yesterday on the Collateral Assistance Program. Want to remind everyone and take the opportunity to let you know that this program is open. Recently, it was closed during the COVID. It was closed because we had switched money to the COVID guarantee program we were running, but the Collateral Assistance Program is open, confirming that, and you can find more information on our website. This is our program that can help for-profit and nonprofit businesses that are getting commercial loans and they have a deficiency in collateral. And so this program specifically targets underserved populations, minority, women, veteran, rural areas, and looking to target the governor's 9 industries. And here is the link for the YouTube channel. If you need that, you can also just search EDD. And last slide, this is our map of the state that shows the EDD regional reps all over the state. So we want to make sure that everyone knows that our regional reps are in your area. If you don't know them already, They're a great connection to the department. They are experts and well connected to the networks that you have in your region with economic development. So reach out to them. They can answer any questions. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I want to introduce Sandra McCardell, who is the coordinating director of Co-op Catalyst, New Mexico, and Mary Knoblock, who is the cooperative education outreach and consultant. So I hope I got that right, Sandra and Mary, and go ahead and take it away. I'm going to switch over to you, Mary. And oh, I forgot to mention one other thing really quickly. Please, 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 we encourage you to ask questions. Mary and Sandra have said that they would take questions during the presentation, so please put those questions in the questions box. And they were great too to answer your pre-questions that you had when you registered. So if you can see on the handout portion, there's a document you can download and access the answers to your questions. And I will switch over right now to you, Mary.
Thanks, Joanna. Let me share my screen. Can you see it okay, Sandra? Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Mary Knoblock. As Johanna said, we're with Co-op Catalyst of New Mexico. And I'm going to take my camera off so I can share my screen.
Oh, okay. It was a little block, but we can't see it anymore. Okay, great.
Okay, cool. Is it still blocked over here?
Nope, you're perfect. Good job.
Okay, great. So we're really happy to be with the Economic Development Department to be invited to speak to everyone regarding co-ops in a really opportune and necessary time to be looking at co-ops. So as Joanna said, we're pretty laid back. If you guys have questions as we're going, please just jump right in. So at CCNM, this is what we do. We're with outreach and awareness, which is kind of what we're doing with you. We provide technical assistance with startup co-ops or businesses that are looking to switch to the co-op model rather than the traditional small business. And we also provide specialized services as well. So my name is Mary Knoblock again. I'm the education and outreach specialist with CCNM. And Sandra, why don't you introduce yourself?
Sure. Let me, I'm not sure whether I'm seeing what everybody else is seeing, but I see a block in the upper corner of your presentation. So there you go. Thank you. It was hiding your background. So
let me do this better. There we go.
My name's Sandra McCardell. I'm one of the co-founders of the Cooperative Catalyst, and as a statewide group, what we're looking to do is to just help there be more cooperatives throughout the state. You can see my background there. It's eclectic, and that may be why I like cooperatives, because each and every one is very different. We're excited to have all of you here. Thanks.
Thanks, Sandra.
Back to you.
Okay, so some people don't have a lot of experience with cooperatives or really know how many there are around them. A lot of people are introduced basically by their bank or maybe by La Montanita in Albuquerque, but they are different in they're member-owned rather than investor-owned. And every member has one vote in the co-op rather than the traditional business where whoever owns the most shares has the most control over the company. So decision-making, ownership, and distribution of profits are different as well. So here are some of the cooperative principles that each co-op needs to adhere to when they get going in their cooperative business. The Rochdale pioneers are the ones who came up with it in 1844, seeing a need for groups to band together to make their businesses and their lifestyles more sustainable. So they introduced these cooperative principles. Some of my favorite are the each member gets one vote, and then the autonomy and independence. So everyone's independent and they control their own organization together. So nationally, co-ops are on the rise, especially with COVID-19 related challenges. There's a huge need for co-ops throughout the country and throughout the world. We're a little bit behind the rest of the world. It seems to have more co-ops in Europe and in Canada. I think in Canada, each Canadian is a member of at least 3 co-ops, whereas in America, it might be a little bit less. So inequalities and inequities is really a huge one right now, especially with the change in the political climate and, trying to make sure that everyone has the same social status as the others. So, and then also changing work structure. So many people have been laid off and are unable to work in times of COVID. And so we really are recommending to do the co-op route. And there's a profit margin that's 8.5% higher than small businesses, and they also grow at 2% faster per year. So despite the difficulties, cooperatives are just demonstrating the ability to reorganize themselves and to reinvent themselves and to cooperate. Do you have any questions yet?
I don't see any.
Okay. So there's 5 of the most common types of co-ops. There's consumer, which you might know as like La Montanita or maybe a bank. And then there's the housing co-op. There's a huge housing co-op in New York. And then worker conversions, which is what we're focusing on today. And then producer marketing, those are most of your agriculture co-ops. And then service co-ops, that would be providing services such as childcare or consulting or maybe massage or things like of that nature. So why convert existing businesses to co-ops? At Co-op Catalyst, we are working with a few businesses to convert their existing businesses into co-ops. And some of the reasons are obviously, as I mentioned before, the COVID-19 pandemic, and then the silver tsunami. Almost half of all business owners are over the age of 55. So in order to try to pass that on to, relatives or whatever they're trying to do, it gets harder because a lot of their families aren't willing to take over the business, or they have no succession plan for the business. So a lot of these small businesses, especially in smaller towns, are closing. So this gives a way for, employees to have an option to buy out, especially if they've been with the company a while or they really don't have any other options for employment. It's a really great way to make sure that the wealth stays in the community rather than going to large corporations who might come in and take it over, or the business just goes away, which obviously hurts rural towns and urban towns alike. So, and then the final thing is an estimated 284,000 business owners are of color and nearing retirement nationally, including 40,000 African American business owners. So it's really a great way to keep these businesses open, to keep these areas thriving, and to make sure that the wealth isn't going to just a few corporations. So here's a slide from Project Equity. It gives the businesses owned by baby boomers by type of industry. And then it also shows the number of employees that are going to be affected with the silver tsunami. So California, New York, Texas are hit pretty hard, but as you can see, every state is going to be affected. So I'm going to go over some of the types of co-ops that are most common. Actually, co-ops can be almost in any kind of industry and business. So the worker conversion co-ops. There's a co-op in California that's called the Slice of New York, and it's employee-owned. They have 2 pizzerias, and I guess the owners were looking for a way to make sure that their longstanding employees had a career path and a future. They were actually approached by one of their employees who said that, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know, what my future is going to be, but I need to have one, but I really enjoy working with you. So they switched over to a conversion co-op. So now they're worker owned and they've been doing great. Another one is Sustain Energy. It's a solar power company, and that's a huge trend right now, is solar power companies going to worker owned. We have one in New Mexico that hopefully is converting soon, but this group wanted to make sure that they were sustaining the 1,000 jobs that they were providing for the next 10 years. They're doing it through satellite office, acquisitions, and franchise models. So they continue to be profitable, and they're continuing to hire. So they're able to keep that company going, whereas a private owner might not be able to handle such a large operation. So for producer co-ops and agriculture co-ops, Pescagora is a famous one. It's in central Pennsylvania, and most of the farmers there came together. Each farmer was bringing their produce to market and maybe wasn't getting the fair price or the price they might have deserved. So they banded together to kind of equalize pricing and to make sure that they were getting, a fair deal for what they were providing. So they work with restaurants there, and each farm is able to contribute to the co-op. One of the service ones, as I was saying, is in Utah. It's the Utah Child Care Cooperative, and a lot of their higher tech companies are actually partnering with Utah Child Care to make this cooperative and their services part of their benefits plan. So also in addition to, health insurance and 401k, they're offering this as a service, and it's been very successful in that area. So one of the cooperative success stories in New Mexico is Arts Cooperative. We're really proud to have helped them. They did most of the work, but we guided them along. We have we have one member of their co-op that's actually joined our team, which is very exciting. It was started in early 2019, and it was a way for the artists to equalize their prices and make sure that they're getting what their art is worth. For so many years, that area was, had trading posts and a middleman that was deciding the prices and keeping the profit. So this is a way for the Zuni artists to get together and create a common gallery and a common place to sell their art at equitable price for them. And it's completely run by them. They have, a board of directors. They have some of their members are managers, and when the store was open to the public, they were able to, share the art in person with anyone coming through the area. They've made a great transition in the COVID-19 era of transitioning to online. They have a wonderful website, which you can see from the bottom, and they've really transitioned well so that their business isn't as impacted, because obviously, in this time, especially in Native American areas, we really are unable to open up to the direct public. So moving online has been great for them. So what are the benefits of employee ownership? So there's quite a few. Obviously better pay and benefits, because the members themselves are controlling what their organization is giving back to them. There seems to be a higher productivity and growth, obviously, because everyone has more buy-in because they're an owner themselves. Improved longevity, so they're staying with the company a lot longer instead of job hopping, which is kind of the trend in the last 20 years. Increased local spending, so keeping the local economy a bit stronger. And then there's some tax advantages, which of course, it's all coming down to the bottom line in certain cases. So there's tax advantages, and it also creates more innovation internally. So becoming a co-op allows for the following. There's a single point with the customer. So as I was saying, in the case of Tuscagora, you have so many different farmers trying to sell their products that sometimes consumers might get overwhelmed. So there's just one point of contact. There's better access to competitive credit and grant funding. A lot of co-ops start with a grant and then move on. And we'll go over some of the ways that co-ops get started as far as funding. So yeah, this helps manage the risk. So one person isn't risking their whole savings or mortgaging their house. All the members are giving an equal amount or a decided upon amount to make the co-op work. So how cooperatives compare to the normal industry or to the normal corporation? Obviously, the controlling owners are the members who are participating in the business. But the most important thing is that the profits stay in the local economy, rather than a large corporation coming in and opening a business and then going back to wherever they're from and collecting all the wealth from the local community. And the jobs stay in the local community as well, rather than being outsourced. So the basic co-op structure is a bit flatter than the normal corporation structure. You have the CEO at the top and then everyone answers below him. So it's kind of circular. You have your members who answer to the consumers and the producers, and then you have the board of directors who are elected by all the members. And then if it's decided that you need management, then you're able to hire a manager, and then you can hire a staff as well. In the case of arts, their members or the management are actually members, and they take turns, taking shifts when the actual gallery is open. A multi-stakeholder co-op, which is most co-ops are multi-stakeholder, and it's a little more detailed to try to get that ironed out, but there's a lot more possibilities for multi-stakeholder co-ops. So it's a combination of the different types of groups.
Hey, Mary, this is Joanna. Yeah. We had a question from Abby come up, and it's a bit delayed. My apologies, but it's regarding what you said about California and Texas. Are California and Texas affected more because they are bigger, or because they have more boomer-led businesses?
I believe it's due to the population.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, I think the study just looked at aggregate numbers. It didn't look at impact per person. So Mary's right. That's why it's larger.
Thank you.
Okay, and there is one other question too from Mary that it's kind of what you're addressing right now, but wanting to get an explanation about concepts, like is there any concept of a CEO and a workers co-op? If not, how does vision or strategy get developed? So if you can elaborate on that and what you're talking about now, it'd be great.
Sure. I'm actually going to defer to Sandra. She might know a little better on, because I don't believe there's a CEO type of structure. Correct, Sandra?
Yes. If you look at this slide here, I know it looks a little busy, but it's actually, as Mary described, it's pretty useful to figure out as a thing to look at and try to answer that question. The members, instead of the stockholders being at the top, you have the members at the top. So everything comes back to the members one way or the other. And those members are the ones who vote and own shares, if there are shares, and make the decisions for the cooperative. They can, as in any other business, elect to take their right to make all decisions and delegate it to somebody. So often the members delegate the right to make some sorts of decisions to the board of directors. And or the members may operate as the board of directors. So they can choose to give away, to delegate some of that responsibility to the board. The board, in turn, may elect to delegate some responsibility to a president or a managing director, or whatever they want to call that managing person. And then management may delegate to staff. So it can look a lot like a traditional business when you look at it from the outside, except that the main authority continues to rest with the members. For example, La Montanita, which is 44 million in sales, they're a big company. They can't operate without paid management. So the members, of whom I'm one, we get benefits for being a member. We also vote for the board, and we can run for the board, and then the board hires management and so on. In Wisconsin, there's an engineering firm called Isthmus Engineering. They choose not to make this, to go through this hierarchical structure. They have, I think, about 60 or 70 engineers and other employees. They all operate as a whole. So they don't have management. They share that. They obviously are all members, and there are some staff, but they make all decisions as a group. So it's whatever they decide.
Thanks, Sandra. I hope that answered your question. Any other questions right now, Joanne?
Nope, that's it right now.
Okay, thank you so much. So multi-stakeholder cooperatives, we'll go over a couple points on that. And you might have covered these. So a variety of groups can become owners. So employees, producers, customers, and clients, and then community members, like in the case of La Montanita. A community member may have a membership with La Montanita, but it just offers, a small discount or some kind of payback for them, but they don't actually have a vote. So there's just different levels of membership that can be found. And the one good thing about co-ops is there's just so much flexibility, but it can be a bit overwhelming if you have a lot of people that don't really know what to decide upon. So that's one of the areas that we'd like to help in, and is to help people figure out how they want to set up their membership and governance and things as such. So cooperatives in a legal sense. Other businesses operating on a cooperative basis, they have to have one member, one vote. They have net savings, and then profits are distributed on basis of patronage. So the returns are limited for outside non-member investors. And legal entity choice. New Mexico Cooperative Association, Marketing Association, you can become an LLC, business corporation, an LCA, which is out of state, and then a nonprofit corporation. Nonprofits are mostly, when they decide to become a co-op, it's for governance purposes only, since there's going to be no distribution of profits. But we do have nonprofits that, you know, like the co-op model as far as governance and what we spoke about in the past few slides, that it's, you know, distributed through all the members on decision making. Taxation. So subchapter T is IRS code for cooperatives. Dividends are distributed to members based on patronage. Patronage can also mean hours worked. It doesn't necessarily mean the product sold or bought. It can be what they call sweat equity, which is the hours worked. So that can be given back if, say, one employee is working, you know, 30 hours at the co-op a week and another is working, say, 10. So it's another way to make it more equal and fair. Federal taxes is a separate entity from incorporated at a state level. And you can use the default, you can elect status of choice if the rules are followed. And we do have a few legal and taxation experts on our team that can help with those specific questions that anyone might have when you're working with us. So Co-op Catalyst, we follow what's called a roadmap, and it can be used for different types of co-ops. It can be used for the startup co-ops, which is this roadmap here. It's for, you know, co-ops that want to form from the very beginning. But we also have a roadmap for conversions to help existing businesses transfer over to the co-op model. And then we also can provide select services. So if you just need, as I said, with like the nonprofits, they might just need help with their governance, or another might need help with, you know, the taxation and legal. So we offer, you know, different services based on that too. But normally we do the step-by-step roadmap for startups and for conversions. And right now there is a resolution in the House that went in 2016, in 2019, and it is trying to commend the cooperative business model and express support for the cooperatives. It went to the House of Representatives, as I said, in 926 in 2019. So we're really trying to make sure that that gets passed. And here's our contact information if anyone wants to check out our website or our Facebook. It also includes our email addresses if you think of a question after this presentation that you may want to ask of us, and we'll do our best to get back to you as soon as possible. We'll also be sending out a survey, so please let us know, you know, how we did or what we can do to improve this. Obviously, we had a couple technical issues. I apologize about that, but we'll go to questions now too. So Sandra, Joanna, do we have any questions?
Sure. No new ones, but feel free to type them into the questions box. Sandra, do you want to go over any of the ones that came through prior?
No, well, I certainly could, but let me just add something, because for whatever reason, I can't see who's on the call. I don't know why, but I just wanted to add to some of the things that Mary said that were, our goal is to help create more cooperatives in the state, and we have as a fiscally sponsored nonprofit. We're part of the Rio Grande Community Development Corporation in the South Valley. And so we do have funding to work with many different types of groups who want to form cooperatives or organizations that want to convert. And we also partner with a lot of groups within the state and outside who provide services that are needed by different co-ops. And I noticed, again, I'm not sure who's on, but I noticed when I looked at the original list that some of the people who were joining were interested for themselves in forming a cooperative, and others provide services to small businesses or individuals. And so we're happy to help those who want to form cooperatives or convert to cooperatives. And we're also enthusiastic about working with those who already provide services to those groups, so that we can together be efficient in growing the economy in New Mexico in a variety of different ways.
Wonderful. Thanks for that. Yeah, there are some questions, so I'm gonna pitch those to you guys. Aaron had a good one. Looking at converting an existing business, what basic questions should we consider to know if a co-op is right for us?
Converting an existing business, I think the first question is, what's attractive about the idea of conversion? So what is it that you think you can achieve by being a cooperative rather than whatever you now are? And in general, there are kind of three reasons to form a cooperative from another business. One might be that you want to grow more. Mary mentioned that you can often grow faster and more broadly by converting to a cooperative. Another one might be that the owner wants to get out. Another one might be that the community sees that this is a core legacy business in the community and they don't want to let it leave or close. So first look at what a cooperative might be able to provide. And then, you don't want to convert a failing business if it's failing because of things that are internal to the business, is only going to make a failing cooperative. So you need to have business basics to be able to form a cooperative. On the other hand, there may be businesses which are failing in the structure that they currently have, but could be profitable as cooperatives. They might be able, for instance, to bring in new customers that way. They might be able to reduce costs that way. So look at those types of things and figure out what it is you want to achieve. And we'd be happy to jump on a call and talk through some of those questions specifically to help you figure out whether that's an alternative you want to pursue or not.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
Christopher had a question about, are there models of nonprofits that also have a co-op like an LLC to do social entrepreneurship with members?
There are probably, just like businesses and nonprofits, cooperatives can come in all varieties. So I am sure there are some. I don't know of any, but again, if you give me some specifics of what you're looking for, we can contact our networks and see if any folks have models like that. there are the Multi-Stakeholder Cooperative, to which Mary referred in the presentation. That's something that we do less of in the U.S. They're particularly common in the UK, and some of those are nonprofits and some of them are for-profits. And if you look at, I think one of the questions at the bottom of the sheet where we answered the questions, there's a link to a website which is called stories.coop, and those are from all over the world. They rely on people posting their stories there. So it's a small subset of the types of cooperatives that there are, because we're all too busy really to post on there. But you'll get a good feel for the variety that's out there.
Okay, thank you. Michael had a good question about what can municipalities do to encourage the formation of co-ops?
Oh boy, I'm going to have to try to keep that short. I think municipalities can really be key to getting cooperatives started in their locations. It can, New York, for instance, puts millions of dollars yearly into co-op education, formation, and structuring, and supports those co-ops. Obviously, that's not going to work here, but coordinating resources very much in the same way that Johanna does for EDD, pulling together resources and saying, okay, these are available for the community, is a really good thing. We are more than happy to partner with municipalities and figure out what particular issues need to be addressed in that community, and figure out how we can help, partnering with the community, the municipality, and other service providers in those regions, move forward to support cooperatives. Because just like businesses, cooperatives don't succeed individually. That's not true. They can, but it's harder. And so just like with businesses, you need an ecosystem, and that's really what a municipality can help provide, is the investment, the education, the raising awareness, and interest in cooperatives moving forward. So municipalities are key.
Okay, great, thanks, good insight. Pam, or Paul L., I hope I'm pronouncing that right, had a question about the membership fees. Did they, the membership fees for worker-owned co-ops, do they fall under New Mexico securities laws, or are they exempt like in California?
The membership fees, so those would be your, so just want to make sure we're talking about the same thing. There's an investment that an owner would make in a cooperative, and then that might be a one-time fee, or there might be membership fees over time. Did you mean one or the other, or both?
Let's see. Yes, the investment to start a capital account.
So my understanding, and we can check this with our legal team, because when I jump into legal answers to legal questions, I always second guess myself. But we can get you a firmer answer. My understanding is that it would, the investment would not be a security unless it were, you would not be subject to security regulations unless it were at a high level over a certain amount. but please email me and I'll get you the real answer.
Okay, thank you. We had a question from Joyce that is, I'm trying to summarize this, Joyce, but basically they have a company, a 28-year-old firm that looks like they do a lot of things, and they are wondering, are there businesses that we could team up with to form a co-op here? Do you all offer any type of connecting for businesses, or is there a resource that they can go to find other potential businesses that they could work with?
Jen, we've never done that before, but we would be happy to work with you and try that. I think it's a brilliant idea because you know, there are just so many challenges right now that addressing them in a collaborative way is probably most efficient, and we don't all know the people, but we have long ears, so we'd be happy to try to figure out what we can find out. Good idea.
Okay. Thank you. And one final question that I'm seeing, and this is actually not a question, it's more of a statement from Christopher Ramirez, and just making a statement that Together for Brothers is working with Three Sisters Kitchen to start a baking co-op out of the kitchen. So a plug for them and the work that they're doing. But as I'm seeing it, those are the only questions and comments, Mary and Sandra.
Johanna,
I would love to. Sorry?
Go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to respond to Christopher's comment. If you could send us that information, what we're trying to put together is a list, which will probably be on the Share New Mexico site. We're trying to figure out where to put it, but somewhere, of all cooperatives in the state, because cooperatives are supposed to support cooperatives, and so we want to put together a list of all cooperatives there are so that everybody knows who's here doing what and can get in touch with those cooperatives directly and you know, either figure out whether there are partnerships that could be developed between them or purchase from each other or whatever. I think, you know, this would be outside of our control. It wouldn't be something that's part of us. We just want to put it together, start it off so that everybody can contribute once it's up and running. So we would love to have that information. That sounds like a great idea.
And I'm sorry to interrupt. I was just seeing in the chat that there was a hand raised, and it's Graciela, and she wants me to share my screen and show the tax slide and kind of review that a bit more. Sandra, are you okay with that?
Sure.
Okay. Let me move everything. Oh, there we go. Okay. So did you have a specific question, Graciela, or?
Well, let me just add a couple of points, and if they're not clear, Graciela, feel free to ask for clarification. The Mary talked a little bit about patronage dividends and what those are. Those are the dividends that are payable based on the amount that each member has contributed to the cooperative. So if you have a subchapter S corporation and dividends are paid at the end of the year or whenever they're paid, you have taxes that are assessed based on your share ownership of that corporation. Or I'm sorry, you have dividends that may be distributed if there's a profit at the end of the year based on your share ownership. Patronage is similar in that it's a dividend that the members can decide to distribute, but it is based on how much you contribute. So if it's a purchasing cooperative like an REI, the dividend is paid based on how much you buy from them. If it's a producer cooperative like an agricultural cooperative, then the patronage is paid based on how much you sold through the cooperative. Or as this said, it could be hours worked or whatever. So you get, so that patronage is deductible to the cooperative entity, which means that the cooperative itself does not pay tax, the individuals pay tax. And individual tax rates tend to be less than corporate taxes. So that's what the subchapter T gives you, and that's under the IRS code. As far as the state is concerned, you would pay your taxes based on the state in which you are organized and registered, which might be New Mexico, or you might decide that for your particular type of cooperative, there's another state that has better rules. For instance, if you're a corporation, you tend to, the default state is Delaware. People incorporate in Delaware and then operate wherever they operate. You can do the same thing with a cooperative. So that's, those are the two pieces of that. Was there anything else, Graciela?
No, she said thank you, I believe.
All righty.
Okay. All right. Well, we had a few questions come in as well, asking if the presentation slides will be available, and just want to reconfirm that the presentation, we will send that out to all the registrants, as well as a link to the recording, which will be on our YouTube channel. So not seeing anything else. So I'd like to again just extend a lot of gratitude, Sandra and Mary, for your time and all the great information. Wonderful, wonderful presentation. And thanks for all you guys are doing. And please reach out to the department, to Co-op Catalyst of New Mexico, if any of us can be of any service or help, and to get more information.
Yes, please do. And we really appreciate the partnership with EDD that is ongoing, to be able to talk to all of you about cooperatives across the state. And please, please, please feel free to contact us. As you've heard, we're all of us kind of passionate about cooperatives. We don't think that they're the only way to go, but we do think they're one that's underserved or underknown. And so we really would like to make sure that everybody knows more about them to figure out whether that's the right approach. And we feel like in a state like New Mexico, where we have insufficient resources, it's a good way to go. So please contact us. thank you very much for your interest, and we look forward to hearing from some of you later. Thanks, Johanna. Thanks, Mary.
Bye. Thank you. Take care.